These are the notes for lesson 3-7, and the title of today's notes is Determinants. So every square matrix and by square we mean 2x2s or 3x3s or 4x4s, etc. Every square matrix can have an associated number. And that number is called its determinant. If you're working with a 2x2, as we'll start off with, instead of doing the full brackets, you just use these things that look like absolute value symbols. And if we fill in this lovely matrix with some letters, the way you find the determinant is to cross multiply and subtract. And then if you multiply up when you cross multiply, you will get the right answer. So for our first example, we're going to have the matrix 6, 4, -1, 3. So we are going to cross multiply up. 6 times 3 is 18. We're going to multiply the other direction. -1 times 4 is -4. And between these two numbers we are going to subtract. 18 minus -4 is 22. And that is it for a 2x2. So if you would turn to page 189, I would like you to pause the video and do both 1A and 1B. So I hope you took the time to do both these problems. For problem 1A, you should have multiplied and gotten -48 minus a -70, which would give you 22. And for 1B, you should have -28 minus 45, which is -73. So, not every square matrix is a 2x2. The other size that we will be studying is a 3x3. I won't make you try to do a 4x4, but you'll see the process once we've done a 3x3. And the process for any matrix that is bigger than a 2x2 is called expansion by minors. So let's write down a matrix that is 3x3. So 3, -2, -1, 2, -1, 0, 1, 2, -3. So we're using expansion by minors. You could pick any row that you want to, but I'm just going to have us use the first row. I think it'll make your life easier, and mine. So the first row is the row we're going to care about. So when we set this up, we're going to start with the first number of the first row, which is 3. And the only determinant we know how to say the only matrix we know how to take the determinant of is a 2x2. So if you take that 3 and you ignore its row and its column, what's left is what goes into this little 2x2 box. And then we do it again. But this time, we're on our next number. So we have a -2. and you again ignore both the row and the column, and these numbers that are left go into the matrix. And we do it one more time. So we again cross out the row and the column that the -1 is in. And we take the numbers that are left and we fill them in. The only more weird thing about this is that you leave the first matrix alone, you subtract your second answer, and you add your third answer. And you just do this. So yesterday we found determinants of 2 by 2s. So that was when you multiplied up and subtracted. So this becomes 3 minus 0, which is just 3, minus -2 times -6 minus 0 is -6, plus -1 times 4 minus -1 is 5. And so we do a little bit more math. 9 minus 12 plus a -5 is -8. Our final answer. So we'll do this again together. So I have a new matrix for you to write down. -8, -4, 4, 0, -5, -8, 3, 4, 1. So again, you could choose to do this with any row that you want to. I'm going to have you choose the first row. If you try to use the second or third row, some of the symbols change up on you, so please check your book for why. But again, we're going to use the first row in our notes. So we have this lovely first row of numbers that are going to be in front of our 2 by 2 determinants. So we have the -8 with a 2 by 2 minus the -4 with a 2 by 2 plus the 4 with the 2 by 2. So if we get rid of -8's row and column, the numbers that are left are -5, -8, 4, 1. Moving along, if we get rid of -4's row and column, the numbers that are left are 0, -8, 3, 1. One more time, if we get rid of the 4's row and column, the numbers that are left are 0, -5, 3, 4. And again, from here, you're just working with a whole bunch of little 2 by 2 determinants just like yesterday. So we just need to evaluate them. Cross multiply and subtract gives us 27 for the first one. Cross multiply and subtract gives us 24 for the second one. Cross multiply and subtract gives us 15 for the last one. And then if you type that all into your calculator, you should get -60. So on page 190, I would like you to try problem 2A. Just like yesterday and earlier today, pause the video, Resume when you're ready for an answer. Okay, problem 2a. I would use the first row. So I would have a negative 5 times a 2 by 2 minus 9 times a 2 by 2 plus 4 times one more 2 by 2. And in the first 2 by 2, I would have a negative 1, 5, 6, 2. Next to the 9, I would have negative 2, 5, negative 4, 2. And next to the 4, I would have negative 2, negative 1, negative 4, 6. And then again at this step, it's just cross multiplying and subtracting. And if you type that into your calculator, you should get negative 48.